This is Tom Rust for TRSB Sports Podcast. Today, delighted to be joined by professional boxer Brandon Scott. How are you, mate?
I'm awesome, Tom. How are you?
Yeah, all good, thank you. Thank you for jumping on tonight. I know you've been a busy man over the last few days. How's the last few days been?
Last few days have been hard. Especially because we've had news that I could be fighting soon. Last few days have been extremely hard, with sparring, with training. Even like there's been days I said to my dad this morning, my body feels broken, but I was on the way to training, but we got back from training. I still did my daily 8K run. So nothing changes. So the last week's just been like the last month. It's just been hard work, going hard at it every day.
Well, mate, it's great to get you on so early on as well, because you've obviously recently turned over as a pro. You're yet to make your pro debut. So yes, it's great to get you on early so we can follow your career, from the offset.
Yeah, no, man, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
So how is life as a professional?
Crazy. Even down to these little like interviews. I'm not used to people approaching me, asking me for interviews. I'm like, yeah, that's no problem. I'm just used to going to the gym, training, going home, but there's so many extra things I have to take into account now. Like I need to advertise myself better. I need to sell tickets. It's a whole different game. It's like the difference between an 800, a sprint and a marathon. They're both running, but they're so different. I've had to more or less change my boxing style. That's Gavin Reese. He's completely changed me. He's improved me loads, I feel. But I knew it was different, but I didn't feel it was going to be as I wouldn't say it's difficult, because I've always trained hard, but I didn't feel it was going to be as different as it was as an amateur.
Do you feel more pressure now that you're pro?
No, I've always had pressure on me, because even down to when I first started boxing, I started boxing so I was severely overweight. So I started boxing and I got the weight off. And because I lost so much weight in such a short period of time, I got loads of publicity. I was on ITV News, I was on BBC, Wales Online, you name it. They had my story on there. So I've always had pressure. I've always had people, people who I know who were supposed to be my friends. They've been people, how am I going to say it? Like, just haters, people would say, but I've had them all through my amateur days. So at the time, I could have taken it as pressure, but I just knew it was going to pay off, and I feel it's going to pay off now when I'm professional.
And what about the media side of it? Of course, as you mentioned, you're going to be asked to do a lot more interviews now. You're going to go to events and people are going to want to interview post-fight, during camps. How do you find that side of things? Because you seem like incredibly comfortable, you talk well, and it sounds like, you enjoy telling your story as well.
Yeah. Well, I've never been a really shy kid, but I've never had to really do do like interviews and stuff. And I've had to show people the other side to me. Like I've only ever really shown people the side to me that loves boxing. But the reality of my life, other than boxing, is I'm a complete geek. I mean, I'm wearing a Star Wars t-shirt here. Do you know what I mean? It's no gimmick. I mean, I don't know if you can see, but that's my poster on my wall over there. So I don't like. I'm not saying I don't like showing people this side to me, but I've never had to. So when people ask me, I'm like, yeah, I love it. But I love my drawings. I've got my drawing. I'm currently working on it. It's a SpongeBob. It's a SpongeBob drawing. I'm a professional boxer, and I'm drawing SpongeBob in a Star Wars t-shirt. And I'm probably the furthest thing you would think of a professional boxer. But when I'm training, I make sure I'm the hardest one training. I make sure I push myself as much mentally as I do physically. So when you said about the media of it, I've had to show this different side to me now. But I don't want people to think that it's gonna make me some sort of like weaker almost when I fight, because I'm making sure that my body and my mind are going to be more than strong enough come fight night.
I think equally as well, though, I'm not a boxer, I've never got in a ring, but surely it must be nice to come out of the ring and switch off and have a another focus as well. I know from hearing you in other interviews, you train incredibly hard and you're an incredibly focused young man, but it must be nice to have other interests and hobbies to occupy your mind as well.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've never been a big group person either. I quite like my own company. So you know, some people after they finish fights, they go out and they go drinking, party, and that's kind of their escape from the world. But mine is, I'm happy just to draw. I'm happy to just watch my my Flash series and my Star Wars films. I'm happy just to have go to that other part of my life where I feel like I can just zone out and forget about the world almost. So, like you say, it's really, it's almost therapeutic to me.
I've got to admit, I'm not the biggest sort of sci-fi fan out there. However,
No, why?
I think
What's
each
wrong with
their own.
sci-fi?
No, well, nothing. I'm not going to disagree with you being a pro boxer, but well, maybe I'll have to watch it again, mate. Maybe I just need to have another go at it. But
Yeah.
are you watching anything else good at the minute? Anything you can recommend? Because I'm always on the lookout for a good series or a good film.
Well, series. There's Breaking Bad. There's Prison Break. There's Money Heist. I'm watching one now, Vikings. My brother gave it to me. It's called Vikings. That's on Amazon Prime. But series wise, I love The Flash. I love The Arrow. DC's Legends of Tomorrow. There's films and series. You could have me stuck on you for hours talking about them. But I'm currently watching the Book of Boba Fett. But if you want my recommendation for a series, if you like, what would you like? Have you seen Breaking Bad?
I have seen Breaking Bad, great series. I was thinking about watching it again, so I might give that another watch.
I've seen that about 2 or 3 times. Brilliant.
I've got to let you know though, there are no spaceships in the Vikings. I did watch a bit of that.
Yeah, no, I know. That's the one thing. It's a bit old. I'm so used to seeing these big sci-fi buttons, and I'm watching Vikings, and they're walking around with sticks, and I'm like, primitive.
Well, as you said, mate, back to the boxing. Tell me a little bit about your team. I know that you've signed up with MTK. Just tell me a bit about like who manages you, coaches you, and going forward.
No, my coach obviously is he's former world champion Gavin Rees. One of the best, but in my opinion, the best trainer in Wales. Highly respected, and he goes out of his way with us. Do you know what I mean? I mean, he's actually taken his days off just to take me on my own up to Birmingham sparring. I mean, you won't get many people who take a whole day off work just to go up sparring with one of their pro boxers who hasn't even had a fight yet. So I feel like with Gavin, I feel like I've struck a gem there. And I'm managed by Leeton with MTK. And he's awesome too. I really like nothing bad to say about him. He's been really good so far, and I'm looking forward to I'm moving forward with them. And in my gym, the Rocks gym, I'm currently the best looking one there. But no, there's Jake Tinklin, Mano Lee, Sonny Lee, JJ Evans, Cody Davis. I mean, there's top level pros, people for me to look up to, and they're like inspirations for me. And like I said, with Mano, Mano and Jamie Lee, they're fighting next weekend on the March 12th show, so I'm going to go there and support them on.
And we often hear fighters talk about signing up with MTK. How did that come about for yourself?
Well, to tell you the truth, after the lockdown, I wasn't really in the best frame of mind when it comes to boxing. I was about 69 kilos, and I was big. But Mano took me to Gavin, and I started training with Gavin. And after that, Gavin, he knew without being cocky, he knew how talented I was and the potential I had. So he made me got my ass into gear, and he was speaking to me saying, "Do you want to turn pro?" I was like, "Yeah, I want to turn pro." And he messaged Leeton and MTK because they weren't so sure at the start because I haven't boxed due to COVID. I feel because of COVID, it stopped me winning. I reckon I would have won some more titles, won some more fights. I know I would have, but obviously because of COVID, I didn't. And Gavin said to Lee, look, I know this kid's really good. And because of Gavin's words, Lee took me on, spoke to MTK, and now signed with MTK Global, one of the biggest boxing promotional companies in the world. It's crazy.
Yeah, they've only got the likes of Tyson Fury, Josh Taylor. So you're mixing it with good company.
They're not bad, like.
And with the right guidance, the right coaching, the right management, and taking the right fights at the right time, how far can you go in the sport?
I said on my last interview, and I'll say it in every single interview, I'm not doing this to see how far, just to see how far I go, to see where I end up. I want to be a world champion. I don't think there's any other reason to do this sport. I think, if you do something, you want to be the best at it. And I know in my mind and my ability, without being cocky, that I have the ability. to be a world champion. I'm only 18. You know, I'm 18. I'm sparring these British title level boxers. You know, I haven't sparred one person in the past 2 months who hasn't boxed for a Brit title, English title, British title, and I'm living with them. I'm sparring and we're having even spars. So I feel when I'm older, I know I'm not saying it's gonna be easy. I know it's gonna be hard. I know there's gonna be moments when I'm gonna have to really challenge myself and hurdles in the road, maybe, but maybe setbacks. But I know when it comes, I'll be ready to move. I'll be ready to take on the challenge, and I'm fully confident, and I'll be a world champion one day.
I love that confidence and that vision, because I know that you're of course thinking about one fight at one time, and there be a plan in place for you. But you said it yourself. You're only 18 years old, but you know where you want to end up.
Yeah, I don't just want to coast along and just be mediocre. I strive to be the best version of me, and I know the best version of me will come out on top in nearly every challenge. Hopefully every fight. But if challenges come along the way, then I'll just take and deal with it as it comes.
You said to me as well, for such a young man, you hit like a 30-year-old. So are we expecting a few knockouts along the way?
Oh yeah. You expect every time I fight, I'm going in there thinking this hand is going through your head and your head's coming off your shoulders. You know what I mean? So when I fight, you either expect a classy performance, or you can expect a knockout.
Mate, I can't
either
wait.
That, or I'm either that, or I'm just chatting shit. I don't know.
Mate, I can't wait to see you at a press conference. You should have taken up Dillian White's spot, mate, and done it with Fury. I think that'd be quality. Just quickly, what did you make of that? Not him turning up.
Well, for my, I think could all be mind games. I mean, Tyson Fury. Me speaking about Tyson Fury, he's like a fish speaking about a shark. Do you know what I mean? But with Tyson Fury, he seems to be the master of mind games. So I think with Dillian White, it's either him just not giving Tyson Fury the opportunity to get in his head, or maybe even a move to get into Tyson Fury's head, or it could genuinely be like Dillian White's just being a bit spoilt and he's not happy with the money he's getting, maybe. But either way, like, by him not showing up, it's sold the fight, hasn't it? It's already started selling the fight.
Yeah, when you talk about the financial side of it, it's crazy, really, considering how much he's going to get for one fight. We talk to fighters that have got TV platforms, and we talk to fighters that are on the small hall shows. They're working full time, they're looking after their families, they're training, and a lot of the time as well, they'll fight and earn absolutely nothing, and sometimes lose money. So when you're talking about that £8 million, and maybe he didn't turn up because of that, or because of the split, or because of the mind games, but I think just for his fans that have followed him from day one, it would have been so nice to see that press conference, because they're both huge characters.
Yeah, it would have. But I'd fight Tyson Fury now for $8 million. Do you know what I mean? Put me on that press conference now for $8 million. Jesus Christ.
I would as well. But when you touch gloves at the beginning, I'll just go down.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. Come out the first round, hit you the jab. You're like, oh no, £8 million later. Goodbye.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a bit of that. But mate, also, one of the reasons why we love doing this podcast, there'll be lots of people watching this video that know you, lots of people that are coming across you for the first time. Tell us a little bit about your route into boxing.
Well, how I got into boxing?
Absolutely.
Well, it started from me. Just I was very, like I said earlier, I was very overweight. If you follow me online, you see my story, and I get a bit emotional speaking about it sometimes. But I used to get bullied a lot when I was overweight and picked on. But I feel that made me the biggest bully I created. My biggest bully then was the one I created in my head. I mean, I was a 12-year-old. I was too insecure to take my t-shirt off. It's no way for a kid to be. So I knew I needed to change, for my own health more than anything too. But I thought boxing, one of the hardest sports, get weight off, great. So I started going boxing. I went at it hard. I lost so much weight. I lost all my weight. I was like, great, target achieved. But I thought, you know what? I may as well have a fight. I may as well. What have I got to lose? And I remember I fought on April 14th, 2015. I remember that day like it was yesterday. And I remember winning my first fight. And the minute my hand got raised, I was like, "Whoa, this is nice." And the buzz it gave me, it hooked me. And fight after fight, year after year, I just took every day as it came, and I trained hard. I remembered that feeling, and I remember I developed a craving for that feeling almost every day, and this led me to where I am now, and hopefully keeps leading me forward in the future.
Talking about the bullying, yeah, it's one thing, you know, I can't stand. I think for people to go out and try and make other people's lives miserable is, you know, is completely shallow. How was that for you? Because I know you said as well in another interview, you know, you was told by a doctor that you was obese, and you know clearly was probably told a few things that you needed to do. But how was that time for you on a day-to-day basis? You know, I take it was at school, the bullying.
Yeah, it was not nice. It was at school, but even when I walked down the street, the people who I semi knew, they call me names. You know, they call me names, and if I go on holiday, I'd be too scared to take my top off, and it just, you know, some human beings can be horrible. You know, I've met some people and disgusting human beings, but I felt, you know, because of boxing, people say boxing's a barbaric and brutal sport, but it's done nothing but good for me, because coming from where I was, not like you said earlier with the confidence, but before I was so insecure about myself. I was so shy, but not so shy. I was scared to talk to people because I thought they just made fun of me.
Yeah.
But now it's changed my life, and I feel like I could take on the world every day now. So, go on.
To be 12 years old as well, I think you said that you was in Paris and you started doing a little bit of shadow boxing.
Yeah.
That's quite a mature decision to make, to realize actually, you know, if I don't make changes now, then I may end up in a bad place.
Yeah. Well, I don't talk about this a lot, but you know, Tom, me and you are good friends, so I'll say it on you. But I got Tourette syndrome too. I suffer with tics. So, you know, if you notice my other little blinks and my twitches. So when you added that on top of the obesity too, it didn't add for a good combo. So what, like I said, with, you know, when I was in Disneyland Paris or shadow boxing, it's even stopped my tics. So when I box now, I don't even tick when I box now. So it's almost, for me, it's literally like it just, I change. It's like almost like a split personality kind of thing. But yeah, look, I, like you said earlier, like, what was it like? I feel like I get more angry and emotional thinking about it now than what I actually felt at the time, because now that I'm not in that position, I can look back at it when I'm calmer, if that makes sense, and realize what it was like more.
There also be people watching this that are maybe going through a similar situation, or generally just a hard time. I know not everyone's going to take up boxing, but what advice would you give to people that are struggling in certain situations?
Well, I know it sounds a bit cliche, but just don't listen to them. At the end of the day, I used to care a lot about what people think of me. I used to care, oh, I don't want to do this because it might upset them, or but no, you as long as you're happy with yourself, as long as you know it, whatever you want to do is what you want to do. That's the only thing that matters at the end of the day, because you're living your life. Obviously, if something's gonna benefit your health, then do it. And there's certain things like, you know, respect and manners, but when it comes to how you look, I don't think you should take what other people. Well, I don't think you should take into consideration what other people are going to think of you. I mean, I didn't change my Star Wars T-shirt because if people look at me and say, "Oh, he's this," I don't care. Yeah, I think the biggest, one of the biggest advantages people can have, or the biggest, how am I going to say it? Like, the best thing someone can have about them is the ability to not care what other people think about them. And I think the sooner people realize that other people's thoughts of them aren't going to actually affect them, I think it'll help them a lot. I wish I knew that when I was 12.
I imagine your, you know, your parents are incredibly proud of you, how you know you have changed your life around.
Yeah. All my parents, they're probably, I owe them probably everything, because even down to now, my dad like does my nutrition. My mum, like, you know, knows his nutrition, and my mum cooks it. But going back to it, they're always the ones that pushed me, in a good way, and they're always the ones that taught me, you know, my discipline, my manners, and I'm great. Me and my family are grateful enough. We don't really struggle too much for money, so I've never had to go looking for a job. They've always financially supported me because they knew this was my dream. So, you know, to think that I've been blessed with the family that I've had, I don't really, I'm open to admit sometimes I don't fully understand. I don't know how lucky I am, and sometimes I feel I need to be more appreciative of them.
And apart from you know, you touched on it earlier, wanting to take people's heads off their shoulders, what else? Now, we often hear about boxers talk about discipline, leaving egos at the door, respect, you know, getting into a routine. Tell us a little bit about what you know, what else boxing has given you as well.
It's given me self-respect. That's probably one of the best things. It's given me self-respect. It's taught me discipline. It's taught me, in a stupid sense, it's taught me manners. I mean, you know, people think, oh, boxing, you know, that won't teach you manners, but it's taught me manners. I'm a lot more, I'm a lot more, how am I going to say it? Like, I'm a lot politer now because of it. I have to, you know, you have to watch your mouth now, but it's given me self-respect, respect for others. It's taught me how to push myself, know like when to push my boundaries. Like sometimes, you know, I'm tired, but it could apply to anyone. I'm tired, or I don't want to do something, but I know that's just my mind telling me I don't want to do it. I know I can do it now. So if my mind's telling me I don't want to do something, I do it. So it's taught me, it's just taught me so much. It's crazy when I think about it.
And when you won your first fight, was it almost like a big sort of FU to the people that were giving you a hard time, or at that point had you sort of moved on from those times?
Well, it was a big FU, but at the same time, it was like, oh, as you say, FU, but now I'm just getting started. You wait 2 years from now, then I'll give you another FU. So I seen it with school. They were like, oh, did you have your first fight? I was like, yeah. And they still laughing. It's the first fight. Then I won the Novice Championships. And they were like, oh, okay. I won the Welsh Championships. And they were like, oh. Then I won it again. And they were like, you could see, it's this day by day. People they weren't looking down on me anymore. They were like, oh shit, he must be quite good. And then I won the British Championships. And then they were like, whoa, okay. And then these people that were picking on me before were trying to like ask me to be my friend. I was like, go away. No. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's crazy how someone or some people only want to, you know, show you respect, or maybe be around you once you've achieved something. You know, just because you're not into a certain thing doesn't give anyone the right to make your life miserable. But yeah, must have been an incredible feeling. And I was going to ask you to talk about what you achieved as an amateur, because you achieved a lot.
I had over, I couldn't give you an exact number, but I had over 40 fights over. I won three national titles. I won a British title. I've medaled and won loads of fights and tournaments abroad. I mean, you know, I've when I say like I've been boxing good kids, I don't mean just good kids. From my 15th fight onwards, I was boxing Eastern European kids with like 150 plus fights and beating them too. Do you know what I mean? So I've thinking, you know, I've been to the European Championships. That's a big kind of hard tournament to get to. I've represented my country multiple times, so I've definitely got my amateur pedigree now. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it helps you in the pros.
And we often hear about fighters that turn over talk about their style is more suited to the pro game. Is that the same case for yourself?
Well, funny enough, you mentioned this to me because during my time in the national team, the Welsh team, they always used to shout at me, "You box too much like a pro. You need to throw more punches." And I should, that's not me just saying words. That was word for word. You box too professional. You box too much like a pro. Well, now look where I am. So you watch now my luck. I'll turn pro now, and people will be like, "You're too amateur." but no, I know my style's more suited to pro. I've always liked to just take my time a little bit more. I've always liked to just, look for openings, take my time, obviously pick it up when the time comes, but I've never really liked to throw hundreds of shots around. I'd like to kind of pick my time. I've always preferred quality over quantity, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it goes to show, you're only 18 years old and you're a professional boxer. It is quite young to turn over.
Yeah, it is quite young. I had quite a lot of I had quite a lot of people disagree with my decision, but like I said to you earlier about not caring what people think about me. If people say, I've no doubt people are saying behind my back, he's too young, he needs more. Cool, you think that? Do you know what I mean? When my first fight comes and my second fight comes, I'll prove to you you're wrong, because I know I'm ready. I know I've got Gavin Reese. If Gavin told me I wasn't ready, I'd know I'm not ready. But I've got a former world champion who's encouraging me, telling me I'm more than ready. So the confidence that gives me is through the roof.
No, of course, you're around some good people, and I'm sure if you wasn't ready, then that they would have told you, and because you respect them, you would have listened to their decision. Something that I really like about yourself as well is the fact that I know how dedicated you are to the sport and how hard you're working and the ambitions you've got. But you're also undertaken a plumbing apprenticeship as well. So all being well, we hope you have a great career. But it must be nice for yourself knowing as well you've got that to fall back onto if you ever needed to.
Yeah, I've got something to fall back on, which is amazing. And also, if I'm ever at a boxing venue and the water doesn't work, bang, I've got the skill to sort it out. Do you know what I mean?
It's incredible, because I think that in boxing and football as well, you get young kids at academies, their dream is to be a footballer, but like any sport, it's only a very small percentage that goes all the way.
Yeah.
So for yourself, I think it's a family member, isn't you work with?
Yeah, my uncle James, he owns J Garn Heating and Plumbing, and he's had like 15 plus years of experience, but he's only now just maybe the past year gone self-employed, and he's doing great for work. But I'm not just saying it to advertising, but he genuinely is. The way he works is awesome. He gets good quality work done. He does it quick too, and I know that because I'm there. But half the time I'm just the bag boy running back and forth to the van, but I'm picking up things too. So I'm actually really enjoying it as well. But at the moment, he's great, because he like the past month, I think it's the past 3 weeks maybe, he said to me, that's fine. You need to go and focus on your boxing now. So the past 3 weeks, I've been training every day, and that's because he's let me. And I'm really, really grateful for that.
Yeah, it sounds like you've got the world at your feet, because you've got that to fall back onto. But at the same time, as you just mentioned, that if you've got a big fight coming up, we need to take time away from the sport, because of course now you're pro, you'll have the weigh-ins, a lot more media work. It's nice that you can take time away from it as and when you need to.
Yeah, and one of the big things too is I get a day. I don't know, especially at the moment, I get a day before weigh-in, which is going to be nice, because and now I used to box. Or as an amateur, my weight fluctuated quite a bit, but I was on average 60 kilos. I used to box on 60 kilos. But to show how serious I'm taking it now, I used to box at 60 kilos after a water cut and a weight drop. I'm now 59 kilos, training hard, drinking 4 liters a day. So I'm looking to box at super bantamweight or bantamweight. So I feel the day before weigh-in is gonna aid my boxing a lot.
And when we're talking, this sort of time next year, what would you want your record to look like at that point?
Well, I'd want it to look like 20-0, 20 KOs. You know what I mean? That's what I'd want it to look like. But no, I said this to Lee. I said, whenever you get an opportunity for me to box, I'll take it. I said, just put me on the bill. I said, if it's Christmas Day, I'll be there. I want to be as active as I can, because, especially because I'm so young. I think most people would think, oh, he's young, take his time. Well, I appreciate I'm young, but why not let me get out there now and learn? I'd rather learn learn and make my mistakes now. So by the time I come when I'm older, I've learned my mistakes in my youth.
No, of course. And I think as well, the pandemic has put sort of time into perspective for a lot of people. We speak to lots of fighters that have almost had to make big decisions a lot earlier than they wanted to. But it's almost like with yourself, like you say, you're ready, and you're ready to get in there and fight as much as possible this year and start building up that record. Mate, we spoke earlier as well about what you enjoy sort of out of the ring. One of the reasons why we like doing this, because as well as finding out what your style is going to be like in the ring, what to expect, how you got into the sport, we spoke about your films, your interest in that respect. What else do you enjoy doing outside of boxing?
Outside of boxing. Well, to be honest with you, like I said, I love films. I love drawing. I have a great group of Kira. There's Neymar. There's Ruben. There's Toby. There's Millie. I had to name them all because they'd be angry if I didn't. And I got my girlfriend Ellie. I spend time with her. And Leon, sorry, my friends. But like I said, other than that, I keep my life quite simple. I don't drink. I never touched a drug in my life. So I make my own fun. I find quite fun, to be honest, playing my PS5, playing my Spider-Man game. I find that fun. Speaking to my friends, I find that fun. So I don't feel like I need to go out and do extreme things to make fun.
I suppose as well, mate, for the job that you've chosen, that's probably a good thing that you are able to,
Yeah.
keep yourself occupied, and you don't need to go out on the beer to have a good time.
No, and like I said, sometimes I love just doing nothing. I don't mean nothing as in watching TV, nothing. I mean sitting on the couch, staring at the ceiling, nothing. Sometimes I feel that's just. I love that. Sometimes you're just 20 minutes and just looking at a painted wall, just looking at it like, oof, relaxing. And I love it. And
it almost sounds like sort of in a way like meditation.
That's exactly what it is. I just let my mind wander. Do you know what I mean? But like 20 minutes doing that, and then I can do my run. I can study boxing, but that 20 minutes is it's like letting my mind free.
Of course, it's nice that you can do that, because I think a lot of people would like the ability to just be able to switch off like that. Mate, yeah. a couple more from me. We had Chris Jenkins on the channel last week to talk about his huge fight coming up against Florian Marku. I'm sure you've seen it, of course. Just want to get your prediction on that.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't want to give like a massive prediction, because tomorrow morning I'll probably have a bunch of Albanians outside my door trying to kill me. But me and Chris used to speak a lot, and we don't speak much anymore. But I used to speak a lot to Chris, and I got nothing bad to say about him. So I hope in my heart, I truly hope that Chris obliterates him. Do you know what I mean? I hope that Chris. I think he could. I really think that Chris could dominate him, because I know he obviously is very good, and he's in the prime of his life. He's got the, like you said earlier, the world at his feet. But I really feel that Chris could pull an upset you. He just beat a former unified world champion in Julius Ndongo. So when you think about it, it's 100% doable.
It's crazy, really, because we spoke about his difficult time last year, coming off the back of a defeat. He was close to walking away, and I know he was close a few years previous to that as well. But he's had a great start to the year, like you touched upon there. Beating a former unified world champion. He's fit as well. He hasn't taken a long time off before getting this fight. So all being well, he can go in there with someone that he might be able to cause the upset, because he said himself, boxer are getting him on there to lose. But it should be a great fight, because obviously, Florian Marku, he's not shy. He tells us where he wants to go. He wants to be a world champion, wants those big fights.
Yeah, he's clearly not. He's not shy of confidence, is he? But I remember watching him. What bill was that? The when he had a draw on the matchroom bill, he fought some guy. I forgot the guy's name, but his nickname was the King. And I remember watching him. I was thinking he was good, but I thought, thinking back to now to Chris's fight, he's technically wise, he's not as good as Chris. I know it's a bold move for me to be saying that, a kid who hasn't even had a professional fight, but in my opinion, I don't think he's as good as Chris. I appreciate he may have the age, and obviously he's the home fighter. When it comes to skill in Britain, it don't get much better than Chris.
No, it should be a great fight. 2nd of April in Newcastle. Mate, just before we let you go, anything else you'd like to add? Any shout outs? Anyone you'd like to thank?
Well, in my last interview in the heat of the moment, I forgot to mention my amateur boxing club Premier, and I got to Premier ABC in Swansea. I just got to literally thank them all. I know I say I owe everything to a lot of people, but that amateur boxing club is honestly, I do owe them so much, especially the head coach Stephen Brophy. He takes, like I said with Gavin earlier, he's like a very similar version of Gavin, but takes time out of his day, just to help his boxers, even if it's a single boxer or if it's 100 boxers, he's there for you. So I got to throw a massive thank you out to Premier ABC, and that's, to be honest, I thanked everyone else then.
And just quickly as well, I did say that was the final one, but any other fights you're looking forward to over the next few months?
Well, I was looking forward to the Usyk Joshua rematch, the Lomachenko fighting. Lomachenko's my favorite boxer of all time. But now, because there's been war, they're both there. And I'm sat here worried sick now, seeing both of them on the front line. So that has genuinely blocked a lot of my favorite fights coming up. But I'm really looking forward to Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte, though, because Dillian Whyte's a tricky character, and he's game. So it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to go. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, lots of people don't give Dillian much chance in that fight. I think we can all agree that Tyson Fury is technically, incredibly gifted and number one heavyweight in the world. But it's a little bit cliche, but one punch can change a fight.
You go on.
I was going to say as well, some people say maybe Tyson Fury is going to underestimate him. I can't see that myself. I think he's got too much on the line to take anyone or be complacent. But it just makes for such a huge fight. I can't wait for it.
Oh, you said one punch can change a fight. Look what happened with Dillian Whyte when he fought Povetkin the first time. Dillian Whyte was beating him easy. He dropped him twice, and then I don't know, bang, one punch changed the fight. So this Dillian Whyte could be the Povetkin of this story. It's gonna be awesome.
If Leicester City can win the Premiership, I'm sure Dillian Whyte can beat Fury.
100%. There's been, that's you said it yourself. There's been bigger upsets than this. It can be done. It can be done.
Do you follow football?
Not majorly. I'm not. I don't hate people saying this. When I follow football, I used to play football. I would put too bad. I was in Cardiff Academy. I used to be a goalkeeper, but I used to support Man City. Only I know. Only because Joe Hart. I used to love Joe Hart, the goalkeeper, and so I used to then. But to be honest with you, the reason I quit football was because I couldn't be bothered to wake up early on a Saturday.
Yeah,
and I used to show up. I used to show up halfway through games, asking the boys, "I was to school." But the minute I started boxing, I'm not saying I forgot about everything else, but boxing just took over my life. To be honest, it's all I really know. I'm not good at anything else really.
Well, it's a great sport, mate, and you've got a great story. I think it's inspiring, really, from being a 12-year-old kid that was being bullied. As you said, massively overweight. You've completely turned your life around, and you've chosen one of the hardest sports to do it in as well.
Yeah, it's some people probably call me a stupid idiot, and sometimes I think to myself, why didn't I just pick something easy? Not easy, but when I don't have to get punched in the face. Why am I doing this? But then I get days then when I'm like, this is why I do this. Do you know what I mean? I know this is what I was born for.
100%, mate. Well, listen, as I said at the beginning of this, it's great to get you on so early before you've even made your pro debut, so we can follow your career all the way through. When are we going to get some fight news?
Well, I don't really know if I'm allowed to say it, but to hell with it. I had news I could have been fighting on the 12th of March show, but it was a rush with me to, getting my medicals done, getting my professional boxing board license granted off. But I've had everything done there now, but it's a case of the show is quite full up, so I don't know if that's going to happen. But there's a show in April, so I'm hoping now if everything goes smoothly, if I'm not on this show next week, I'm going to be fighting on a show. I'm not 100% sure where it is. It might even be in Swansea, my hometown. If that's the case, everyone can watch me. But no, maybe April time, hopefully.
Well, we will, keep an eye out on your social media, mate. But yeah, let us know soon as you know. But it'd be good to get you back on at some point when you've got some more news or after your first fight. But mate, it's been an absolute pleasure to get you on. You've got a great story. You tell it so well, and we look forward to following your career.
Thank you. I can't thank you enough for having me on. It's it's really helpful, especially now with me needing to help publicise myself more. This is a great opportunity for me. Thank you very much.
Anytime. Well, mate, have a great evening, and we will speak to you
too,
soon.
Man.
Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thank you very much. All right. Bye.